Well, today we begin season 5 with Luton Town as we prepare miraculously for our first foray into European football via the UEFA Cup. We have got some good summer signings as we've continued to increase the quality and the depth of the squad. However, I went for 3 big defensive targets this summer, and unfortunately, we missed out on all of them. We're going to take a look at the near misses, see what we've added this summer, and then get into our first game of the season, a winnable one at home to Manchester City. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 35 and the start of season 5 from this FM06 Let's Retro save from Luton Town. We've been having plenty of fun in his career so far and we are back today for our biggest test yet. We start a season where we're going to have to juggle European football and genuine league expectation for the first time. We've got a busy summer transfer window to reflect on, including a huge number of near misses that would have made this squad go to the next level, but we are no longer one of the favourites for relegation. The media expect mid-table, the board expect top half, and last season we finished top 6. So what are we going to do with Thursday night football? Is it going to haunt us as well? If you want to find out the answer and you're looking forward to this season, then please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. But for now, before I go and show you the players that came in and went out of the club, let me show you the 3 big hitters I tried to get that all refused to join us in defensive areas. There were a couple of others as well, which you'll already know. So Emmanuel Aboué and Michael Owen, both free agents and transfer listed, but not able to get them over the line. They rejected us for moves elsewhere. Here are the 3 we really went for though. The first one is possibly the most heartbreaking because we went for a man who became a Premier League legend in real life in Vincent Kompany. He rejected us and stayed at Anderlecht, where he's only got 1 year left on his contract and he's not willing to discuss terms at the minute. So without us being able to afford his wages for now, we're just going to have to hang tight. We paid our whole transfer budget to try and get him, but it hasn't yet come off. We'll try again in January. The second one was a bit more annoying because we got him, and we got him agreeing a deal, but unfortunately, he picked a contract with Porto instead, who offered a lower wage than we did, but obviously have Champions League football and are one of the big hitters in a nation that naturally speaks Portuguese for his Brazilian nationality. He would have been the centre-half. You can see from his attributes. If we'd have got him, I genuinely think we could have challenged for the Champions League. To have him, Basagno and Curtis Davis would have been a top Premier League back 3. Unfortunately, Adinho rejected us for Porto and we lost out on what would have been a bargain transfer. The same probably applies at right back with this guy because Rodrigo Diaz looks set for his second move within Brazil in the summer. We tried to kibosh that and get him in again. Despite not being sensational physically, everything else is top notch and again would have improved us massively, but rejected the club. So unfortunately, he's not going to be coming in either. And that meant that our defences ended up having incremental upgrades rather than a big one because without those 5 signings coming into the club, we've been forced to do what we did the summer before, which wasn't a disaster in fairness. Look at transfer listed and free agent players and places we can add depth. Because I felt like this summer, particularly given the injuries we've had in certain positions over this time, we can't just go in with 4 strikers, with 6 defenders, with 4 centre mids. We've got to have an extra backup in each. So that's sort of what we've done. If we go and have a look at the players that we have bought in, it's not the worst little list, I've got to be honest with you. These are the 5 that have joined the club, and we'll look at who they're replacing in a minute, because you can then see there's a bit of an upgrade. Now, all of them were end of contract deals, some of them free agents, some with compensation. Shane Paul was the first one we agreed. He's been a long-term target for the club. A very good centre forward and right winger, can do both roles naturally. We've got to bear in mind that Theo Walcott is still going to be injured for multiple months after his 10-month layoff from January or February time. So to get Paul in, who can offer us that pacing behind, that quality and the versatility if we wanted to change shape, because I still wasn't sure at this point what we were going to play this year. I think it's a fabulous signing for the football club. The second one is basically an option for Peter Crouch. We saw last year when he was out, Steve Howard couldn't cut it. Henrik Pedersen obviously out on loan. Both of those have now retired. Valentin Robert didn't have the best year, and at 5'9", he wasn't a natural backup for Crouch. So as we got towards June, I'd sort of decided that I was going to stick with the same base tactic this year, and that meant I needed a proper deputy for Crouch, and Dean Ashton is certainly that man. He's a brilliant all-rounder. We know he's not got the best injury record himself, but he adds another player to the books on a modest wage. He's solid all-round. He's over 6 foot, and he's got that bit of magic. And again, far quicker than Howard or than Pedersen ever was. Good penalty taker too. So many positives. The third one that came in is probably the gamble of the summer, because Christian Portia is a number 10 at 20 years of age. He was a free agent option. Mentally, he's very good. Physically, he's fantastic. Technically, he's good. And as an attacking midfielder, he's got that ability to run in behind and finish, which is what we've looked for in all of them, whether it's Osman Maloney or now this guy. While I don't think he's going to play a lot this year, he probably would have gone out on loan if I'd had my way. He's going to get the chance. He can play in the reserves a bit. He can play in Europe a bit. And I think there's some sort of potential there. And at the very least, we'll make a profit on the nothing we got him for. The fourth one is a name that most Premier League fans will know, and most Europa League fans will know. Didier Zokora is an experienced pro who's come in. In this universe, never played for Spurs, never played for Sevilla. We got him straight from St Etienne on a free. He's a class-holding midfielder. He can cover centre-half, again offers versatility. Only 5'10", but he's good in the air as well. And when I've got Flamini, De Cassi, we talked about Richard Hughes getting sent off. We talked about Nichols being the first backup. We're trying to push to that next level. So I've just basically pushed in a third brilliant one. I'd argue he's probably better than Flamini and maybe first choice with De Cassi. He's a player who's in his prime, who's very good at this level. And I think for Europe, we'll add a little bit of squad depth. So Didier Zokora is the next man in. Very happy with a versatile addition. And then the final one, he came in a bit later because we missed out on those centre-halves, as I mentioned. We tried to get a Dino Company, etc. We're still in for a couple more, including one Anthony van den Boer. But if not, Sylvain Distin on a one-year deal just does the job. He'll either be our 4th, 5th or 6th choice centre-half, depending on what we get and don't get this summer. He's 31 now, but he's naturally left-sided. He's still quick. He gives us a bit of balance. He gives us that aerial threat. Not the best in the world mentally in this game, but for a one-year deal, it just made sense. He's on £8,000 a week. You picked him up for nothing. And if he plays 5 games or 35, he ends up being a decent deal for the price. So Sylvain Distin, another experienced Premier League and European pro coming in. And that means I'm overall pretty happy with the summer. I'd still love to get one brilliant defender in. I'm still hopeful we can do that deal. But with centre-half and right wing-backs, the priorities to upgrade in the future, we've already got good players. They're only getting upgraded if we can find brilliance. And the ones we've missed out on would have been that. So look at the players in though. We've got to look at what we've lost. And miraculously, we've actually made a slight profit so far this summer. Okay, only because we missed out on an 8 million centre-half. But these are the players that have moved on. And you then see the sort of leaps in quality we've taken. Zach Barrett has left on a free agent deal at the end of his contract. He's now gone to Notts County. Still can't jump, but otherwise a good young goalkeeper. Warren Feeney, championship legend, but couldn't cut it in the Prem. He's gone on a free to Wickham, where he's not scored in his first 2 games. He's getting £10,000 a week in League 2. I don't know where on earth all these English clubs are getting money from at the minute. They've got a crack inside, haven't they? Roger Johnson, Robbie Nielsen. They've got Royce Wiggins. They've got Matt Bloomfield as well. Of course, the current Luton manager who might be taking us down. Warren Feeney has joined that bunch. He did a job for us, but he's not a Premier League player. The same can probably be said for Chris Coyne, who has now gone to Huddersfield. They are in League 2 as well. So you can see these backup players. They're nowhere near Premier League level. He's over the hill at 30. He's starting to decline. And again, he's not had the best start 3 divisions down. Another one who's moved down the divisions is a fellow centre-half in Marcus Heikkinen. Basically our first choice centre-halves in Season 1. And 4 years later, they're all moving on to the middle of the EFL. 190 grand to Stockport, who I think are League 1. They are indeed. And Heikkinen will be a first choice centre-half there. To be honest, he's a good player. And he would still be a very good Championship one. But at Premier League level, he's not going to cut it. He was a good servant for us. But last year, when he played, he was well out of his depth. The next one is a backup goalkeeper in Lee Grant. We've kept McGregor as our number 2. We've obviously got Schmeichel. We almost signed Benoit Costil as well. Didn't quite come off. Lee Grant, though, has moved on from the club. He's gone to Hartlepool, I think in League 2 again. No, they're League 1, to be fair to them. He's their first choice goalkeeper. Not started great, but he was good for us in the Championship. And I'm sure he'll prove to be a good signing for them too. Steve Howard left on a free. He is going to retire. I'm sure he said at the end of the season. 27th for the 6th. Oh, next year. So yeah, he's going to retire next summer. Won't get a deal before then. It's a shame really because he was a fantastic player. He just went over the hill as we came up and became a top side, and otherwise he could have still been contributing now. A few too many injuries caught him out, but Steve Howard will always be remembered fondly. And to be fair, this guy probably will as well. Floribert Ngalula, due to the fact we had the option to get Zakora and that he hadn't developed that much, I didn't feel I could keep him. He's a very good holding midfielder, but he's not top tier. He's gone to Aberdeen for £1 million with a fairly healthy sell-on clause as well. He'll get the chance to play in the SPL. He's lost a lot of his value, but he could gain that back if they get into Europe. And for someone who made what? So I forgot, I didn't really realise how many he'd made. 29 Premier League appearances first season. Did okay. Only made one the second year, but played a good part in the Cups. He moves on for £1 million, having signed him for free. And it proves again that we've made a good profit on him, as we did before with Carrier Gilbert, as we hopefully will in the future with one or two others. But I'm really happy with the players that we've got in for the players we've got out. When you consider that we've replaced Coyne and Heikkinen with Sylvan Distan, we've replaced Ngalula with Zakora, Howard has been replaced by Dean Ashton, Feeney has been replaced by Shane Paul. When you look at it that way, you see that we've actually had a very good summer. And again, we've increased the depth of this squad no end. So that puts us in a very good position moving into this year. We did try and get some staff in, but I don't think we actually pulled it off in the end. We mostly just stuck with the ones that came in. Though we did have a couple of retirements and a couple released from our original team, unfortunately have all moved on due to not being good enough. So that leaves us with this squad for the season. Richard Hughes obviously suspended at the start. He is transfer listed, but no one's come in for him yet. Theo Walcott is still out for 3 months. Look how much he's declined. All of that pace has dried up. I worry it's the sort of injury that might ruin his career, but we're not going to worry about that for now. We've got a very good squad. We've still got Mike Zonneveld, who we're still not getting offers above £3 million for. Maybe his release clause will be safe for this summer. Was our player of the year last season. Did get the Premier League player of the year. That is someone who has made one hell of an influence on this team. So this is the squad we've got to start the season. We can hopefully add a defender to it as well. But overall, just looks a little bit healthier. When everyone's fit, we've got 5 natural strikers, 6 that can play up there, including Maloney. If we do need to use him up there, Portia gives us a third option as the number 10. At the moment, while we've got Richard Hughes, we've got 6 holding mids because we've got Basagno and we've got Giroud, who's still in the reserve squad at the minute. And then at the back, we've got 5 centre-halves plus Zakora who can cover it. And we've also got good wing-back options too. So it all looks pretty good for now. But as we go into the first game in the season, we have got to live up to the hype. If we go through to the Premier League fixtures, we have got Manchester City on the opening day. And they have been battling relegation for the last 2 years. As a reminder, last season they finished 13th after a late flourish. We finished in 6th place on 57 points. The season before that, us and Manchester City were next to each other, 5 points and 2 places apart in the Premier League, both having drawn a very few games, but both having lost too many. So this season, will we be able to start with a win? Will we be able to get our new players settled in? Let's have a look at the 11 I've gone for, because there are a couple of new faces in there, but as always, I've not gone mad. Sylvan Distan and Dean Ashton will be on the bench. Portia will not be in the squad today. However, we have got 2 in from the start. Those are Didier Zakora, as Flamini has spent most of pre-season injured. And we've also gone for Shane Paul, of course, because we haven't got Theo Walcott up front. Valentin Robert, he's doing okay, but he's not really got up to speed this summer. Never materialised getting an offer from him being wanted before either. So this is the squad that we've gone for in full. It is Kasper Schmeichel in goal, Ferdinand Basagno and Davis the back 3. Still keen to get Ferdinand out of that first choice defence. Adinho or company, of course, would have done that. There may be one to come in who can later in the summer. Foley and Zonneveld, the wing-backs. Again, Foley still in because of the Diaz failure. Decassi and Zakora, the holding midfielders. Leon Osman, the number 10. Then Shane Paul, the new pace man up front, alongside Peter Crouch, who's got pressure for his position this year. He's unhappy because he wants a new contract. He's on 10 grand a week. He wants 31.5. Not sure we're going to go up that much that quick. But into the first Premier League game of the season. Let's see how we get on at home to City. Well, here we go. Another Premier League season begins. With it, the expectation and this time the pressure. Let's have a look at this City team. As Distan does not start against his former club, we have got a few big names in here actually. Rob Green in goal, Van Boyten and Rocker still going centre half. Torrado's alongside Ian Westlake, who was a bit of a wonder kid in this game. And then with Gary McSheffrey on the left, they've got Vassell and Carew up front. The classic big man, little man, just as we've gone for. And don't forget their left back Ian Green, who is becoming a superstar at 19 years of age. Vassell's probably still electric. Yes, he absolutely is. This is going to be a very tough match. Let's see how we cope with it. As we go into the first half against City, we have traditionally been the better side against them in recent years, but this is where things could get difficult. Crouch has been out injured for most of the end of last season and a bit of pre-season. And he loses out there to Van Boyten, who's one of the few that will probably be comfortable against him in the air. As that ball's across field, McSheffrey will get there first. Paul thought about closing down, but didn't make it as Carew gets in. It's a good save by Kasper Schmeichel, who again is up against his former club. We've picked up a couple from other Premier League teams in this save as we go long towards Crouch, who does beat Van Boyten, but only by giving away a foul this time. Free kick City and a positive start for the visitors. A reminder for any of our sort of younger viewers in here, this is not a dominant City side. This is before the takeovers, before they became rich. This is when they were a yo-yo or a bottom half Premier League club. As France gets to right back, gives it to Torrado. Up to Quinn, Zakora blocks the cross, Basagno away. Now we can break with Paul and Crouch. We've got Osman in support. I've pushed the wing backs up as much as possible this year, so we should have a few on the attack as Paul cuts in. Beats Westlake, finds Zakora, who there he is supporting the attack. In towards Paul again, Rocha away. Carew goes up, but Basagno wins it. De Cassie to Foley. Now Leon Osman. Strike from distance isn't great. It's a good position for him to get space, and with 15 gone, it's the first glimmer of hope for us. As Zakora wins the ball back high up the pitch again. Osman to Crouch, who beats Van Boyten. He's got Paul in the middle. He finds Paul in the middle. And the header's over the bar. There's the benefit of Zakora though, winning the ball really high up. And now we've got a corner to defend, and this is where we could be struggling. Crouch loses out in the air, and Roca's rebounds over. Probably should have scored that in truth. We're not going to complain on this occasion. There's not convincing defending as Basagno goes up the Crouch. Zakora away as far as Zonneveld. Into Osman again. Space on the edge. That's closer. Not hitting the target just yet. But that one at least had the goalkeeper worried. Manchester City on the ropes a little, but now up the other end. France gets it from Carew. Big switch which Foley misses. McSheffrey, the former Luton loan player, would have been there 03-04. Misses out on getting on the end of the cross. Just over 5 to the break. I'm a bit concerned about how even this game has been. Maybe it's partly a lack of fitness on our front. I tried not to go too heavy in pre-season because I'm worried about later in the year when we're going to have that Thursday night football as well. I'm a bit worried about Carew here as well. He wins the header easily. It's over the bar, thankfully for us, but they're definitely showing some threat and we're struggling to deal with the direct aspects. As Carew goes up again against Curtis Davis. Davis wins it. Paul's got 2 running off him. Goes to Zakora. It's not a good ball. And a long one's towards Davis. Schmeichel's flying out. I don't know why. He didn't need to, but he did well with it. Crouch flicks it on. That's a good header. Paul chases Rock up, but he can't win it. And it's out to Quinn on the right again. All City on the break. Carew finds Torrado. Quinn on the right. Big switch to McSheffrey again. Against his former teammate. Gets the ball into Vassell. Beats all of them, but Quinn keeps it in on the right. Chance to cross again. Into Carew. Good save. Zakora clears away. This has not been high quality. I know we do like drawing our first game of the season 0-0 or being really boring. This is not a good performance to go with it. We've barely seen Zonneveld, who plays a 1-2 with Zakora here. Goes up towards Crouch. Should be beating France in the air and doesn't. McSheffrey gets it down for Westlake though. Are City going to punish us right before half time? McSheffrey to the byline. Into the box to Carew. Schmeichel does well. Yeah, this ain't good. This is not a good performance. The half-time whistle goes. It's 0-0, but Manchester City are dominant, and we are offering very little on the break. The good news is we've got a better subs bench this year. I'm a little bit alarmed at our first half performance, I must admit. Well, 10 minutes gone in the second half. It's been quiet, so it won't be long now before we look at subs. Torrado heads away here to Basagno as De Cassie looks up for Paul. Flicks on. Crouch almost made it. Thought it'd be the other way round, but it's Paul flicking on for Crouch as Foley cuts it into the box. Crouch is up there, wins the header but can't direct it. And we will look at subs soon because we're not creating a great amount here as Ferdinand finds De Cassie. I must admit though, we've started the second half better as Basagno goes up to Crouch. Flicks on again. Just wanted him to get that down for Osman or Paul. He's not able to do so. I think now with 25 to go, we will make some subs. Shane Paul is going to be replaced by Dean Ashton. We're going to put the two big men together up there. Maloney is on for Osman, who's struggling physically. And then my options are Flamini holding role, Distan centre-half because Ferdinand's not great. Do I trust them defensively and then go for somebody else? I think I'm going to put Distan on. We'll switch Davis to the right. Gives us a little bit more height in there. Gives a debut and a player against his former club. And with 25 to go, we have to hope that the two big men can make a difference. Vassell's come off as well. Caru's picked up a knock. And City are going long again. Foley wins it back for De Cassi. Maloney brings it down to Dean Ashton. What an impact this would be if he could score on his debut. Gets it into Crouch. An assist would be just as good. Saved by the keeper and cleared away. Better from Luton. Still not quite showing that dominance that we'd expect. As Caru's got a free kick 30 yards out. And it's a good save from Kasper Schmeichel. Bakari keeps it in. And crosses out for a goal kick. We're going to go a bit more aggressive and hope it makes a difference. Before that, though, we've got to watch the goal kick, which is long downfield from Kasper Schmeichel. Nowhere near Crouch in the end as Rocker clears it away. Quinn goes long towards McSheffrey. Curtis Davis up, heads clear as far as Bakari. Manchester City again looking for a way through. Quinn gets the ball to Westlake. We've got to be concerned about this performance because we've been so much better for most of last season. Hopefully it's just a bit of early season rust as McSheffrey in. Good save, Schmeichel. Almost beaten at the near post. That's the magic of Gary McSheffrey. It's well saved in the end. City still goalless at the moment. They deserve to be ahead. We can't argue with that. Well, we went as attacking as possible, but we've got through the last 15 minutes and stoppage time without any action. And yet again, it is a boring start to the season. I'm not thrilled with the performance. I mean, I'm not mortified, but it's not good. Kasper Schmeichel was our man of the match. City had most of the chances. I've got to go back and look at our first games of the season. We definitely drew the first season 0-0 against Millwall because I was really worried and then we had goals galore. So it was 0-0 the first year. Second season, a 1-1 draw at home to Sheffield Wednesday, a boring game. Third season, frustrating 1-0 defeat away at Charlton. Fourth season, 2-0 win at home to City last year. Nichols and Maloney got the goals. This time around, they would have been free kicks as well, wouldn't they? I remember they'd both be free kicks. And this year it's 0-0 and we barely had a free kick. So a difficult day, and we're going to have to get used to this. Sides trying to play deep against us, hit us on the counter. Are we going to be able to cope with that, with Thursday night football and the increased schedule? Or do I just need to wait for players to settle in? Because that was a new striker, a new centre midfielder, and a couple of other key players injured. Let me know in the comments if I should panic, if I should adjust, or if I should just wait it out and see what happens. Give us your view on that, the summer signings, and our first performance of the season. Do you think we'll be able to compete with Thursday football, or is it all going to go wrong this year? We'll find out the answer over the next couple of weeks as we return every weekday at 4:30 with another new episode from this Less Retro Save. For now, though, if you did enjoy this one, a new start to the season and a summer special, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. If you want to stay up to date with the rest of it, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. But for now, thank you very much for watching and for joining me for another brand new year. We will be back tomorrow to continue it, and hopefully we'll be able to find a big signing before the summer transfer window slams shut.